How is everybody? Hope you're all having a great morning, great afternoon. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. We're ready to get started. I do appreciate everyone attending our event today. My name is Bre. I am part of the team here at Clearly IP in the role of Chief Marketing Officer. I will be your lovely presenter today, and I have Tony Lewis, our CEO. He will be joining us a little later on. Tony and I often collaborate on webinar events like today's, as he's able to jump in after my presentation and conduct a live demo and really showcase our subject matter. He will also lead the Q&A to answer any questions you might have on technical bits. So once I've done my presentation, he'll start with his live demo and answer any questions you might have. Right now, I have everyone muted, but feel free to post any questions in the webinar control panel at any time throughout the webinar presentation. And we are recording this webinar for your review later. You can always check out our previous events via the webinar recordings on our webinar webpage or on our social channels. I anticipate today's webinar is going to take anywhere from 30 to 45 minutes with a Q&A at the end. It's going to be a general overview of the steps to set up a cloud-based phone system. We get asked a lot of questions by new startups and even existing businesses with old legacy on-premise systems, that what are the main steps when making that transition or that leap to a cloud-based platform. So people are really just looking for simple explanations or the basic principles on how to set up a cloud-based VoIP system. So we're here to help with a better understanding of that process so you can wrap your head around it and figure out the timing for your business to make that upgrade. So we are going to have some generalized steps today on how to set up a cloud-based phone system using some basic principles. I will quickly explain what cloud telephony is, and then we've broken it down into 8 essential steps, which I'll review with you. The important considerations when deciding on whether you want to do a self-managed or hosted unified communication as a service cloud-based platform. I'm going to go over features and the user management you will want. And then, of course, Tony will step in and demonstrate these steps. He's going to use our hosted cloud platform called Clearly Cloud. And then we will wrap up with some questions. So let's start with the basic explanation on what is cloud telephony. So cloud telephony is actually pretty simple to explain, a little more complex to execute. Hopefully after today, it'll be a little easier to understand and wrap your head around. So what it boils down to is your telephone system is run through the internet. So software and hardware devices interface with your internet service provider to allow VoIP, voice over internet protocol. So it's an internet-based phone system and it can be in the cloud. You can host it yourself or align yourselves with a third-party service provider that includes everything. Typically, it's run on virtual machines and servers and data centers, often asked about AWS or Google, or even with your third party like ClearlyIP that offers the full solution on our own servers and virtual machines in our data centers around the world. So we get asked, how is a VoIP system really different from an analog phone system? Before we jump into the details, we should establish what sets VoIP apart from the analog systems and phones. An analog telephone connects directly with the PSTN, the public switch telephone network, through dedicated landlines. And phone calls are facilitated by the local telephone company, effectively requiring a direct connection to a phone jack. Whereas IP phones connect to the telephone network via a VoIP provider through the internet. So it turns the audio into data packets and transmits them using IP, Internet Protocol. So the provider's data center then transforms the signals into analog and transfers them through to the PSTN. So since SIP phones don't need dedicated landlines, it's easier to scale an office with VoIP as with a traditional phone system to share phone service with multiple employees, and on-premise PBX is required. So now that you know what VoIP is, let's discuss how you can begin setting up your VoIP phone system. So we've broken it down into 8 easy steps, trying to keep this in basic principle, general terms, so it could apply to no matter what platform you're going for, whether it's a self-hosted cloud or aligning with a third party for a UCaaS, Unified Communication as a Service platform. Majority of businesses do end up going with a third party provider, as typically the motivation is the cost savings, the expertise you're getting, the ongoing service and support, and the big one is the security and stability going with a third party telecom expert versus trying to manage a team in house yourself, which can be very expensive and very high risk, and quite difficult to find telecom experts to have on your own team. So the steps here might change depending on which cloud provider or platform you choose. However, it is the common steps regardless, of the platform. So the 8 steps are: you're going to start with choosing your preferred setup. You're going to do a audit of your network and your internet connection. Next, you're going to decide on your provider and determine what features you need to ensure that the platform has the features and functionality that your business relies on now with your phone system, and really looking into the future of what you should and need down the road. You'll want to take a look at what is the right VoIP hardware, as in IP desk phones. Next step is identify how do you keep your current business phone numbers or get new ones. Then you're going to move on to setting up your system, starting with the system design and how you want all your calls routed. And then next is to set up your phones and test them. And lastly, training, and monitoring of the system. So I'm going to walk these through, starting with step one. I'm going to try to go as fast as I can so we can get into the live demo portion, where Tony's going to actually show these steps using our Clearly Cloud platform. So let's begin with step one, which is making that decision on what platform you choose. So when considering moving a business to a cloud phone system, the first question you really need to ask is, do we want to host it ourselves and manage everything ourselves? And if so, do we have the talented team of experts in house? As I mentioned earlier, most businesses don't. So do you want to rely and partner up with the telecommunications company that'll just take care of everything for us, that really has the in-house expertise to do so? So I think we're going to really talk about aligning yourself with a third party host. This is the trend, although we still want customers and businesses to still have access to the basic self administration and user management of your cloud based system, even if you are aligned with a third party, so that you still have your own control and access with a self management tool or portal. So if you're looking for an idea on costs, in going with a third party unified communication as a service solution, it can be anywhere from a low end cost of somewhere around $10 to $25 per seat per user per month. Mid-range systems cost anywhere from 25 to 40 per user per month, and high-end enterprise levels cost anywhere, let's say, from 40 to 65 per user per month. So for the intention of today's guideline, I'm going to walk you through the steps as if you have chosen to go with a third party to host your new cloud phone system. So once you've chosen your provider, the next step is you're going to want to do a real good audit of your network and your internet connection. So take a look at that network infrastructure. You might be concerned about how much bandwidth VoIP uses, but a rule of thumb is about 100 kilobits per second upload and download per line. Most internet service providers now offer gigabit speeds with their business plans. So your current connection is more than likely fast enough to accommodate a VoIP system, but you definitely want to check this if you're a business in a remote location or possibly an industrial park that has historically had issues with services. You definitely want to check out your current bandwidth to make sure that you have adequate high speed to support a new cloud-based VoIP system. Voice calls use very little packets. They're not a huge bandwidth sucker like downloading major files or streaming. One caveat is that some home office connections can have much slower upload speeds, such as some DSL connections. So you want to be really careful too if you're considering going to a cloud-based system, if you have a business in a home or residential area, to ensure adequate high speed to support a VoIP phone system. In addition to speed, the issues that impact VoIP call quality are often related to the instability of a connection. Jitter and packet loss are two metrics to examine. A wired internet connection like fiber or cable is preferred to support a VoIP system. Microwave and other options are often too unstable to accommodate a VoIP system. And you want to look at your network hardware, because network hardware can also be a bottleneck. If the router or network can't handle peak traffic when your business is really busy and you have a higher traffic of calls, you could experience choppy audio or other issues like drop calls. Wi-Fi works fine in most cases, but a wired connection is always better. Definitely take a VoIP speed test to stress test your network and identify any potential issues. And the results are going to give you a great idea of whether or not your connection can handle a VoIP installation. And if not, then you can pursue upgrading it. And you might also want to consider putting quality of service in place to really prioritize your VoIP traffic and your VoIP packets and data. So this way your voice traffic is prioritized. It's placed above other traffic like YouTube or Netflix, ensuring less latency and packet loss. All right, so step 3 is you're going to really want to identify what features you really need, what you're currently using and relying on with your existing phone system, and what you're going to need looking into the future. Pricing, system features, and security are really important factors when you're choosing your right plan. So switching to VoIP doesn't just mean you replace your landline. It's also an opportunity to move your business communications into the next generation and really take advantage of new technologies that are going to improve team collaboration. So the right VoIP provider will also be able to grow with your company. You want to check on scalability and make sure that the solutions and the features are going to empower efficiency and cross-department communications. For example, video conferencing solutions, chat engines, call analytics, and really all unified communications that you're going to want to have in place in your business, not just basic phone services. So I've put a list here of some of the important features. I could go on and on. There are so many features you want to look at. You might want a full enhanced voicemail platform, teleconferencing, video conferencing, call record, auto attendant, IVR, call analytics, call recording, call pop to display relevant information about callers automatically when answering incoming calls, and then voicemail to text or international calling. So the list could go on and on. So you definitely want to check with your vendor to make sure that they have the features that you're going to need and the performance and high reliability it needs to scale. As an example, our Clearly Cloud platform offers over 100 features, which are typically only found on more costly enterprise solutions. So even our small businesses will now have access to those type of features that enterprise companies require, so they can really elevate the quality and reliability of their business phone system when moving to Clearly Cloud, and also to make sure setup is quick and easy and that there's not going to be any significant downtime. Okay, step 4 is to really consider what VoIP hardware you're going to need. For example, physical IP desk phone endpoints. So I'm going to talk about endpoint hardware, but I'm also going to talk about software-driven solutions as well. So if you've chosen your VoIP provider, you've done your audit, you've determined your features, the next step here of your VoIP configuration is to invest in VoIP hardware. Since VoIP has become the standard for businesses over the last few years, there's some really great cutting edge options out there. You can definitely check out our YouTube video on our ClearlyIP SIP series IP desk phones. for a breakdown of the types of equipment you can get and what technologies you should be looking for in IP desk phones. So you want your calls to sound great. So you definitely want to invest in high-end proven equipment. Our series, the 200 series, all offer gigabit pass-through, power over Ethernet, full duplex, and support of HD codecs, along with a lot of the standard necessary features and technologies you want, like speed dial buttons and other programmable buttons and a display. Most customers are looking for a display nowadays. On top of your phones, you might want to think about headsets. VoIP headsets are a great way to complement your business phones so you can walk around while on calls, walk and talk, and your people will have their hands available to type and talk. So you should verify if your phones can support headsets, wired or wireless, and do they have Bluetooth built into the phones? Will they support an electronic hook switch adapter? Do they have a dedicated headset jack for wired headsets? So definitely something to think about when looking at equipment. Always remember to ask about headset compatibility. Oh, and if you're wondering, can we keep our old analog desk phones? In some cases, you might be able to use a VoIP adapter called an ATA, analog telephone adapter. And if it will work for you and you've tested it, you could make the switch to VoIP in a cloud based phone system and keep using your analog phones. But I'm sad to say, in most cases, these analog phones just don't adapt very well and they can cause some issues. So just be aware that some voice quality issues can come, and that in most cases, businesses do make the decision when moving to a new technology platform, kind of makes sense to update your hardware as well. Here's an example of our phone so you can get an idea of price. Make sure you ask about setup and configuration. With our phones, we offer zero touch provisioning. So once everything's set up in the back end, it's simply plugging the phones in and they work for you. They'll just auto provision. Now, if you don't have the capital to outlay for buying all new IP desk phones, you could consider asking your provider if they offer device as a service, DAS. So device as a service is low cost monthly phone rentals. So it's a great way to get new technology and it's just put into your operating budget, added to your cloud based platform monthly. And it's a great solution for those that need new IP phones, but they just don't have the budget for an upfront capital expenditure. We do offer devices as a service at Clearly IP through our US partner channel. This is definitely an awesome solution and a great secondary option. And then let's talk about soft phones. So alternatively, or in combination of, you could go with soft phones. So soft phones are great as users can be mobile and use a soft phone on a desktop, computer, a tablet, or their smartphones. And the trend is that businesses usually do go with soft phones in a combination approach with their physical IP desk phones. Your staff will definitely require headsets when using a soft phone, so you can go with a wired or wireless option depending on their preference. Okay, fifth step is you need to determine what you're doing with your business phone numbers. If you already have business phone numbers, how do you retain them when you move to a cloud-based system? Or how do you obtain new business phone numbers if you're a startup or even expanding and opening new branches and needing local numbers in those areas? So, depending on your provider, a local phone number can be included with your plan, and you have a few ways to get phone numbers for your business. If you're looking for new numbers, if you have one already, you simply just port it over. It's actually quite an easy process if you are working with a provider that has a porting process all organized. You can organize different types of phone numbers. You can get local phone numbers, which is a local area phone number, perfect for businesses that have a limited market area. And you can get toll-free phone numbers. So a toll-free phone number is an 800 number untied to a location and can seem much more professional and trustworthy to your customers because your customers won't have to pay when calling your support lines if they're not in your local area. You can ask for vanity numbers. Vanity numbers are typically memorable toll-free numbers that spell out specific words. For example, 1-800 call taxi, or something in that sector or industry, or whatever spells out a word that relates to your business. So these numbers are recognizable and people can really remember them. At ClearlyIP, we offer phone numbers in all the states and throughout Canada, and actually in 80 countries globally. So if you are looking for new phone numbers across the globe, we're happy to help you with that. And let's talk about the porting process for a moment. So porting is when the new service provider requests from your existing old service provider the port of your business phone numbers over. We have a really fast porting process so that you keep your existing business numbers and then you don't incur any extra cost of getting new phone numbers. So definitely check with your provider. How are they going to transfer your phone numbers from your existing provider? We handle all the porting processes in the background. We do 3 simple steps. So basically, you identify your cloud-based plan that best fits your business. Then you can even actually ask for or request temporary numbers if you want to get. Let's say your system is crashing, you need to quickly move to a cloud-based system before your numbers are ported. You could ask for temporary numbers, and they could have those set up for you ready on day one, and just set up a call forwarding environment from your old provider and begin using the platform right away. And then when your numbers are ported, start using your regular business numbers. You will be required to complete a letter of agency, LOA, which will provide all the necessary details so your new provider can handle the porting process with your old provider. And get all your phone bills ready. You're going to need all your phone bills showing all your phone numbers and what the services are, and contracts, etc. um, the porting process will take anywhere, well, with most companies, usually somewhere between 7 to 14 days. We pride ourselves on our process. It's usually somewhere between 5 to 7 business days. Plus, we keep you aware of the status for the duration of the porting process so that we make it easy and seamless. Okay, we're on to an exciting step here, step 6, which is to begin the setup of your system. So once you have your provider, you've done the audit of your network, you've got your hardware, it's time to complete the setup in your office. The specific steps depend on hardware and the number of employees, of course. So you'll be likely working with an onboarding specialist or a system designer, or maybe even a new system technician or programmer. First, you're going to need to develop an extension list with all the staff's information, corresponding phone extensions, any DIDs or phone numbers, locations of each phone, and really all the pertinent information of how you want your system set up and how you want your calls handled and routed for daytime and nighttime operation, plus your voicemail platform. You can even record your voicemail greetings, for example, your day or night auto attendant greetings in advance. And once all this information is compiled, the phone system backend programming will be done and everything will be set up and tested. Next, you can start plugging in your phones. I'll briefly outline the simple process of getting your system up and running, as if it is a cloud third-party based system. So if you are a customer, it's literally just plugging in the phones at this point. You can use phones with an AC adapter, or you can use phones with PoE. For VoIP desk phones without PoE, you're just going to plug the AC adapter into the outlet, then plug it into the phone, connect the IP phone to the switcher router using a Cat5e or Cat6 cable, and wait for the phone to initialize, and then check for dial tone, and you can make test calls. If you have a router that supports power over Ethernet, the process is slightly different, but even quicker. So you connect the phones with the PoE enabled switcher router with Ethernet cables. Definitely want to stay within the recommended max length for twisted pair cables of 325 feet. And then once connected, the phone should auto provision and just turn on. So it should automatically establish a connection to your VoIP provider and then you can simply start making some test calls. If you are using headsets, we've put together a basic diagram of how electronic hook switch installation works with the VoIP phone. I'm not going to go into this in too much detail, as setting up headsets are pretty self-explanatory, and you can always get help from your headset manufacturers. If you are looking for headsets with that one-touch answer feature, you will need an EHS adapter in most cases, and wireless headsets and phones with the EHS cable support. You simply plug the AC adapter into the closest outlet and then into the base unit of the headset. Attach the EHS headset into the headset's base unit, and then connect the other end into the desk phone, into the headset dedicated network port and EHS port. So definitely, for more instructions, check out your online headset manufacturer instructions. They're pretty great, especially if you're using an EHS adapter. We help our customers as well with headset connectivity. All right, so step 7, you're going to want to implement and test your new VoIP lines. If you've done everything right and you have a fast connection, you should not have any issues, but it's better to be safe than sorry. Things you should pay attention to when you're making your test calls: you definitely want to check your audio quality. Are your calls clear and consistent? Is there any static or other sign of low quality audio? Latency: are there any significant delays between when you say something and the receiver hears it? Are you speaking over each other at all? Connection stability: did any of the calls temporarily drop? Some firewall settings can cause calls to drop entirely after a certain amount of time. So definitely test short duration calls and long duration calls of up to about 30 minutes. And you should also test your lines and make sure you're testing it when there's a lot of network activity. When your business is the most busy, network congestion can lead to a variety of line issues, from drop calls to choppy audio and more. And you should definitely check your caller ID, your outbound caller ID is set up and working properly. And then we're at our last step, which is just staff training and ongoing testing and monitoring of your new system. Make sure your staff have received training to really utilize the new system and understand the technology. We always recommend doing training sessions of groups of 10 for approximately 30 minutes, where you demonstrate how to use the technology in different scenarios. You might think it's not necessary, but it really is. You do not want your people having a negative experience with the adoption of new technology, or are too slow through the learning curve because of the lack of training. Employees want to use new technology. They want to use their new business communication equipment so they can be more efficient, be more mobile, productive, and collaborative. At ClearlyIP, we actually have our own training materials and presentations. We have an extensive library of training videos, user manuals, and online guides that really make it easy to understand the features and the functionality. Okay, voila, we're finished the 8 steps for effortless VoIP setup. One of the reasons our customers love us is because our Clearly Cloud is really so easy to use and to get started. So I'm going to just walk you through some of those features now. We've won awards for our solutions. Really try to help you every step of the way. We'll help you with system design, installation, and training. So our unified communication as a service platform is called Clearly Cloud. I mentioned already, it offers over 100 features. I'll talk to you a little bit about those features so that you know what you're looking at when Tony is demonstrating. When we developed our Clearly Cloud UCaaS platform, we had 6 goals in mind. Number one, that it was simple and easy to set up and super intuitive, so users did not have a learning curve issue. We wanted to make sure it was competitively priced, so it's affordable with flexible terms no matter what size of business. And we have designed a platform with business continuity for stability and security. We want to protect your voice calls and voice traffic with a really well-maintained, secure platform. We offer a call panel with our Clearly Cloud that will offer your users an intuitive interface to use and manage the phone system. So yes, you'll have your own self-administration. And we offer professional services so that we can do personalized support to help you if you're making that transition. And our solution is just incredible for scalability, anywhere from 1 seat to 10,000 seats. So it can really meet any size business needs. Our system features are equal to those offered on enterprise systems, costing significantly less than an enterprise cloud-based phone system. So therefore, it's not out of reach for small businesses. We include all the basic features: call parking, find me, follow me, enhanced 911, and limited extensions are just a few of the features that are included. You can definitely see more about that on our webpage. I mentioned we have a high performance call panel. It's a highly responsive call panel that'll give users insight to things like active calls on your system, from what callers are in a conference room to who's waiting in a queue, how long they may have been waiting. So it's going to give you those advanced features and functionality that your users will need to conduct their day-to-day business, and what system administrators are going to need to control what users have permissions and access to for self-administration of visibility, permissions, and management. It's got a really cool main navigation bar across the top, which really engages users in an all-in-one application. It offers simple user management. So for those of you looking for your own self-admin, you're going to be able to do that in the control panel. You'll be able to add or remove people, see current user status, access the voicemail platform, even listen to active calls if you need to. We offer a basic call center management platform, so tools that'll suit almost any basic call center requirements. You can view and manage your queues, view statistics, and see waiting calls. We offer conference room support, makes managing conference rooms really easy. With Clearly Cloud, our conference rooms support up to 25 video calls and up to 100 voice calls. This is, of course, dependent on the number of lines a business has, and it's managed through a simple interface, allowing you to really focus on the conversation and easily add people to your calls. Everyone should be familiar with voicemail. So our Clearly Cloud platform does offer a full voicemail platform and administration of. You can actually do your recording of your greetings right from the computer interface. We offer a record of call activity at your fingertips so that you can monitor and manage. You can see your call detail records. It's great for reporting and billing. So if you're looking for some basic call detail records, we can help you with that. And of course, video conferencing. And we offer video conferencing on our platform. It allows for screen sharing and chat, so you can very easily share your ideas and manage your conference calling. Another great feature of our soft phone is SMS and MMS support right from our soft phone. This allows you to send and receive quick messages. If you, I don't know, maybe a coworker is on the phone currently, you want to send them a quick message. So we offer support of that. We discussed soft phones. Our Clearly Anywhere mobile soft phone. It's an app that can be installed on an Android or iOS device. So it'll work on a tablet or a smartphone. So you can really set your people up to be able to receive business calls and make business calls anywhere, anytime. This can really elevate productivity. All right, so that sums up my presentation. The other thing I just do want to mention is you should also, when looking at options, always ask for a trial. We offer a trial, and it really allows you to test the plan and the systems out, make some calls, and see what you think before you have to make a decision. So I'm going to turn this over to Tony now. He's going to take you through some of the steps I discussed and show you how everything works. Hi, Tony.
Hi, Bre.
How you doing?
Pretty good. So we're just going to walk through how fast it is to get a new cloud system purchased. And then I'm just going to set up a really simple IVR and a voicemail box and show how fast we can get routing working here. So I'm going to share my screen. So the first thing is I'm over inside of our portal where we actually make purchases. If you go to trunking.clearlyip.com or cloud.clearlyip.com, they go to the same place. And if you don't have an account, you can create one on demand. And once you have an account, you log in, you're going to see our main dashboard with some information about services we offer. And we're going to go under products and services locations. We're just going to add a new location. and we want a Clearly Cloud system. And we're going to do this on a month-to-month plan. We're going to say it's for, let's do 2 users. 2 users. I'm not going to spend much time in this. This is basically, do you want to use we have a product called Cloud Device Manager that lets you provision phones with us. And we give it to you for free if you're a Clearly Cloud customer. So it's just saying, do you want to add this to Cloud Device Manager so you can go provision physical phones? I said yes, it's $0 in the shopping cart. We're going to hit next. We're going to give this a name, webinar. We're going to give an email address for logging into the cloud system. So I'm going to say training12@clearlyip.com. And I'm going to give it a username. I'm going to use the same email address. I'm not going to have it send me an email. So this is just to create the user in the cloud system so that you can log in and start managing the phone system itself. We can set some default caller ID information. So we'll say ClearlyIP. So this is just used in the event that what you set up in your phone system and in the cloud system, if somehow you set up invalid caller ID, we'll replace it with what we define here. So under all the new stir, shake, and spam laws, we can only sign calls that are valid caller IDs. So we're letting you set basically a fail-safe here in the event what you send us is not valid. And then we provide some location information for taxation purposes, what region you're in for calculating taxes, the thing we all love in life, right? Then we start buying some phone numbers, and if you've got to port some numbers in, you can buy some temporary numbers if you want. Pick any state and rate center, and you'll start seeing what numbers are available. I've added 2 into the system here, and again, once you bring your system up and complete the purchase, you can go submit porting request at any time to us to port your numbers from your existing carrier in. We're going to add emergency services, so this is free. This is to set up the default 911 record. And we're going to use that same phone number, and it's already put in our address from the location. If it's different for 911, you can update it here to be whatever it needs to be. We're going to verify this address for 911 is correct. It came back, it's all happy. We can hit next. This is normally where you would add your credit card. Your government agencies or schools, we do offer terms where we email you the invoice and you mail payment to us, mainly for government and school districts. We'll hit next, agree to the terms here. And we bought this under a month-to-month, not under a 12 or 36-month contract, so we can cancel at any time. And it says right here, month-to-month. So we're going to go ahead and save this. And this is going to go procure those phone numbers we wanted, get all the 911 set up with the 911 operator PSAPs, and bring up the tenant inside the cloud system. And this all takes about 30 to 45 seconds. Okay, so we'll let this run for a second. And again, if you have any questions, you can put them in the Q&A here, and we'll get to it in about 5-6 minutes once we get through the live demo. So it's brought up the location, it's adding users, it's processing all the numbers now. You can kind of see what it's doing here. And it's now done. So from here, we have our new cloud system, and we can log into that system. So if we go view this location that we just bought, this is all the information about billing services. Not going to waste our time kind of on this. If you need to buy more users or adjust your user count, you can do it from here. The big thing we want from here is we want to click on here, and this is going to auto log us into our phone system. And now this is where we can start setting up the phone system. So we could go into, we're going to start with a user. So I'm going to create an extension. So under users, add a user. We're going to call this Tony Demo. The username will be Tony Demo, email address. Again, not going to run through all the features here. I got to pick a profile. I want the one that has call recording enabled. I want extension 1001. Apply an email to the user. So what's going to happen here is it's going to email this email address and say, we created a new user for you, and here's your login to our call panel. So we'll hit apply, and it will send that nice email. So I've got an extension or a user created at this point, and maybe I want to create an IVR now. So I'll go to announcements, and I'm going to create the greeting quick. I'm going to use our text-to-speech greeting system. We're going to call this main IVR. And our voice type, I'm going to pick English, US. We'll just grab one. And then we'll type in our greeting here. Press 1 for the sales team, or 2 for support. We're going to go ahead and create this now. So we've created the nice announcement we're going to use in the IVR, just using text-to-speech. And then we're going to go and create an IVR under digital receptionist. Add a new IVR. We're going to call this our open IVR. The announcement, we're going to pick that one we just created, main IVR. When somebody dials the IVR, are they allowed to call if they know somebody's extension number? Are they allowed to dial extension numbers to be connected directly to them? We'll say yes. And then same thing for like conference rooms, personal conference rooms, ring groups, if they can direct dial them, so you don't have to do entries inside your IVR for those if you check them. We're going to go ahead and leave the rest alone. Under options, we're going to add a new option 1, and we're going to send this to that user 1001. And we're going to add an option 2, and we're going to send it, for simplicity here, let's just send it to voicemail. And then pick the voicemail box, that 1001 Tony demo, apply that, and we've now got an IVR. So we can simply just go into our DIDs that we bought, those phone numbers, and we can pick one of these and route it to that IVR we just created. Oh, not time condition. Digital receptionist. And apply it. At this point, we can call that number and we will hear the IVR recording. So, I mean, it's really quick to get a system up and running. We can set up some automated schedules here if we wanted to play different things, depending if it's business hours or not business hours.
Thanks for calling.
Let me see if we can hear this. Oh, I didn't set any repeat on it. Let's try again.
You have reached ClearlyIP. Thanks for calling. Press 1 for the sales team or 2 for support.
So that's how simple it was to get a basic little system up. We could go in and create things like a ring group, so we can ring a group of extensions and somebody presses sales. All those common features you expect in your phone system exist here. That user that we created, that extension, they got a nice little welcome email that said, here's how to log into the phone system. Me as the PBX admin, I can pick any user and log in as them. So when I hit connect as user, this is that call panel Bre was talking about that's built into every system, and it's got all kinds of different features to it. But what's really neat is from here, I can start making and receiving calls. So if I call that IVR again, we said option 1 would go to this user. If I press 1, there we go, inbound call. And we can just answer it right here and don't even need a desk phone. I can put them on hold. I can transfer the call. I can do a blind or attended transfer. I can stop recording. So I had it set up to auto record every call. If I want to stop this one, I can stop the recording. So anything you need to do from a desk phone, you can do right from the built-in soft phone. So not going to walk through everything Call Panel has, but it's got a lot of great features. The real thing is show how fast it is to get something up if you need it and how easy it is to just start programming things. So at this point, we will go into the Q&A section. First question is, can I pre-program holiday programming and dates for the cloud system for annual dates? Yeah, so inside the system, there's a scheduler. They're called time groups or time conditions. And in here, you would go set your standard open and closed hours, and then you can create exceptions inside there for days, for the holidays that you're closed all day. And then you just route to, like an open IVR, if you want an IVR, or a ring group, wherever you want when you're open, and route when you're closed, where you want to route calls to. Can voicemails be transcribed? Yes. So inside Call Panel, if we go under voicemails, you'll actually see for your voicemail settings for a user, I can enable transcription or disable it. So any user can have voicemail transcription if they want it, and that will transcribe the voicemail when it emails it to you. or the PBX admin can do it inside the user setting. So under voicemail, they can do it right from here. And they can enable transcription. Done. And if we refresh and call panel now, we'll see the same settings. There we go. Voicemail's on. There's the email it's using. Okay, how does the emergency routing or after hours routing work? Can it forward to a cell or an answering service? Absolutely. So you could, for example, in your time condition, you could route to a ring group. And in that ring group, when you're closed, and in that ring group, you could add external phone numbers. So when you add a ring group, you can add internal numbers, or you can add any external phone number with a pound at the end. So you would just put your answering service in here, and it will just send the calls to the answering service. Or individual users can manage like their call forwarding settings or their find me, follow me settings. So inside a user, the PBX admin can administrate those settings under status, so they can set call forwarding or they can enable follow me. Or an end user, if they have permissions in call panel, can come into call panel and hit the little gear cog here, and they can manage their call forward settings, turn them on and off, and manage all their follow me settings too for a user or for an extension. How does mobile soft phone connect to our network? And if I use a mobile app, do I need to worry about security of our network? No, because this is all cloud-based. It's our network, actually. So you're connecting to our network. So the mobile soft phone, you just install it in Android or iOS. And the easiest way to log in is just to come over to Call Panel and click on this little Clearly Anywhere QR code, and it'll pop up. And we just scan that with your mobile phone, and it will auto log you in, and now you're ready to start making receiving calls and sending SMS messages and receiving SMS all right from your mobile app, the Clearly Anywhere mobile app. Can we try this as a VM in our own infrastructure? No, this is a true cloud application. You can't just go install this on some VM that you host yourself. This is built with lots of redundancy. It's got a rack of equipment that runs in our data center. This isn't something you can just put on some VM inside your office or some data center. It's a true managed service by us, a unified communications as a service platform. If you're a reseller that's looking to maybe private label this, we do have different options we can talk about where you can host the backend in your own data center and white label it. And you can contact sales about that, but it's designed for large resellers, and it's got a wholesale arrangement to it. So, please reach out to sales, and I'm sure they'll be happy to talk to you. There's a way to set redundancy or failover system for a cloud system. It's all built in here. So this is redundant, within everything here. Does that mean there's never outages? No, everyone has outages. You can never design around absolutely no outages, but this is all designed with lots of redundancy into it and failover built into it. Can this be hosted in our small data center and then be used over existing VPNs to our branch locations throughout calls? Again, it can in our OEM arrangement, our white label arrangement, where you can host this in your own data center. It's really designed for either resellers or large enterprises that want to host it as their internal phone system for all their companies or divisions, getting into thousands of users. It scales to tens of thousands of users. So it's designed for either large enterprise or resellers who are going to bring on a lot of their own customers. So that's our OEM arrangement of Clearly Cloud. And again, sales can talk to you about that. Generally, most of our partners and resellers are just using our hosted version of it, maintained by us, and adding their users as they need it. Can I listen to my voicemails in Call Panel? Yes. So inside Call Panel under voicemails, there's a couple different things you can do. You can manage all your settings here for your voicemail box for your user. You can manage all your greetings here. So I can record my new name. Just hit the record button, Tony Lewis. And then hit save, and we recorded our name greeting. Then I can say, I want to do busy or unavailable greetings. I can hit here, record. You reached Tony's voicemail box. I'm not able to take the call right now. Leave me a message after the tone. Or you could upload. If you had professional recorded ones, you can upload them here. And we have our greetings all managed right from here. And then we can even, if we had a voicemail, so let's see. I don't remember what extension I created this as, 1001. I'm going to dial star 1001 so the call goes right to voicemail. Hey, I'm just leaving a test voicemail. It should show up in call panel here after I leave it. 123 ABC. And there we go. Notice we got a little 1 up here. We have 1 unread voicemail. We navigate around into call panel. That 1 is there still because we haven't listened to it. And if we went to a desk phone or used Clearly Anywhere to listen to it, it would drop off. It wouldn't show 1 anymore. If we had 3, it would show 3. We can come over here and we can pick the voicemail we want to listen to. And we just hit play. If we want to delete it, we can hit delete. If we want to mark it as read or unread, so, hey, I'm done with it. Now the little MWI counter of 1 goes away. Or we can forward it to any other user and just start typing the extension name or extension number to forward it. So full management of your voicemails, your voicemail greetings and settings for each user within call panel. What kind of video conferencing? So it's got full video conferencing built in. I'm going to minimize this one. I'll bring up over here. So here's my actual call panel. I have access to all these different video conference rooms I have permissions to. So if I want to launch a conference room, I have my own personal Tony Lewis one. I can launch it in a new browser tab. So this will open up Chrome or whatever browser you have and launch it there. Or I can launch it within call panel embedded. So if I click this button, it'll bring me up that same but minimized screen here. And there it is, my video conference, and others can join it, and I can even send invites out. So invite people, start typing in email addresses, or I can do things like a share meeting invite, and I can say through Gmail, and it'll bring up my Gmail, and it'll automatically put in all the dial-in information, so the dial-in phone number, the URL, if you want to join through the web, all right in the invite for you automatically. And when I'm inside a meeting here, inside of call panel, if I navigate around, so if I go to the parking screen, the video conference is still here. And I can even detach it and move it around and resize it. And as I navigate around, it still is sitting in here. Or I can say, I want to go full screen. Or I want to redock it. Or I want to throw it into a brand new tab so it's not inside of call panel. So if I click here, it'll bring up your browser and log you in through your browser. So full management right from within call panel for video conferencing. Is there no charge for conference or admin? So video conferencing is included. We include 2 rooms for free. If you want additional rooms, there is a per month fee for those, but you get 2 rooms for free with your system. And then I'm not sure what you mean by admin voicemail. We do have the concept of what's called vanity users, a brand new feature that just came out. Vanity users basically are users who don't make outbound calls. So they can be like door access phones or overhead paging devices or voicemail only, and they're significantly discounted from a standard user fee. Okay, Bre, back to you.
Wow, great participation, everyone. Thank you so much for all your questions. Thanks, Tony. That was really awesome, actually, for even me to watch and follow along as you go through how easy it is to set up and provision this platform. Thank you, everyone, for attending. I'm sorry we went a little over time here, but lots of good questions that we wanted to get back to everybody. If you have any more questions, or you're looking to do a trial, or you want another demonstration, you can always reach out to our sales department. They can set you up with the demo and even set you up to try it out for a day or 2 and even see how the system works by having some hands-on. Thanks for having the time today to spend with Tony and I. We really appreciate it. We've got lots of events coming up. Definitely check them out on our events page and have a really wonderful day. Thank you, Tony.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.